Thank you, Dr. Kep, and thank you all for being here. My journey into education is one that is non-traditional, and yet I'm sure will be very familiar to many of you. I'm a career changer. As an undergrad, I studied geology, and after I graduated, I got a job and worked in the field for a few years. Geology sounds cool, and honestly, I love saying I'm a geologist, but I did not feel fulfilled in my career. I was always curious about teaching, but never gave it too much serious thought as I had no background or training in education. Until I received a call from my cousin Kelly. She was and is a high school teacher and explained her school desperately needed science teachers. She asked would I be interested in coming down for an interview. Thanks to her answering my barrage of questions, I walked into that interview prepared with all the teacher buzzwords: Wicker, ELL, IEP, differentiation. I had done my research and felt ready, but when I would find myself only 3 weeks later in front of a classroom full of angsty 16-year-olds, I quickly realized that I might know the meaning of the acronyms, but I far from understood their practice. The first years of teaching can be tough for anyone, even those who have had the classes and training in student teaching. I learned, like other career changers, by doing and by stealing all the good things that I saw other teachers doing around me. Thankfully, my school had an excellent AVID teacher to steal from. That same cousin from before. Kelly, would you mind standing up for me? Thank you. Thank you. At the time, I was not ready for the high-level structures and frameworks, but AVID offered me easy-to-implement strategies and activities that I could grasp onto. This gave me the freedom to build better relationships with my students, which made coming to work every day much more enjoyable. My journey then led me to teach middle school. This was a new experience from the high school students I had been teaching. Middle schoolers require a different set of skills. Skills like classroom management and thoughtful scaffolding. I found the toolbox of strategies I had built for high school students unequipped for this challenge and struggled through the rest of the year. My school had recently become an AVID National Demo School and offered to send me to a summer institute at the end of that year. I kept running into this acronym, whose strategies had saved my well-intentioned lessons from years before. Attending Summer Institute immersed me into the culture of AVID and helped me capitalize on my skill of connecting with students. It modeled how a successful classroom could be run and filled me with excitement for the possibilities in my own classroom. It inspired me to leverage these relationships I was building into supporting students accessing more rigorous coursework. I found that when students were supported with the proper scaffolds, they would rise to meet almost any challenge. After that Summer Institute, I had a much more successful second year. With the support of my school's culture of AVID, I implemented many of the strategies and methods I had learned. I was excited by the success I saw in my students when I worked to make the lessons more accessible and intentional. At this time, our school was participating in demo coaching visits, and I regularly had visitors in my classroom watching me teach science and giving me feedback on my implementation. The year before, I would have been anxious to have so many guests watch me teach, but I had gained confidence by having AVID fill in the pieces that were missing from my toolbox. I knew I was finding success, and I wasn't afraid to try new things. Because of my new enthusiasm for integrating AVID in my lessons, I had the exciting opportunity of moving to teach the AVID elective for the next 2 years. Thank you. It gave me the chance to think about what supports I could have used growing up, as I was a mediocre student and definitely could have benefited from the program. I enjoyed the freedom I had to build relationships with my students and focus on the skills that students really need to be successful in today's world. During this time, I also found my new passion of sharing AVID strategies with other teachers as an AVID district facilitator. I'm happy to say my journey does not end there. I reflected on how AVID had become my pedagogy because I lacked the formal training in education. I thought about all the mentors, like my cousin, my site coordinator, who patiently coached me through difficult lessons and classes. In a sense, AVID raised me by taking me from a nervous new teacher to an experienced, confident educator. I'm excited to begin my next challenge as a school performance coach at one of our career and technology centers. There I will work with teachers who, just like me, do not come from a background in education, but have a drive to share their hard-earned experience with students. I will be able to share my successes and failures with other teachers and help them discover themselves as educators, where I hope I can spread amazing teaching strategies like the ones you are learning in your communities of practice here. I want to ask you all to imagine what's possible when we not only support our students, but support each other in this difficult but rewarding work. Thank you.